What's up, everyone? All right, well, I've got an exciting recap for you today. We had a stock that squeezed up nearly 100% on breaking news at 8:31 a.m. I didn't see it coming, not even for a second. Why? It's the day before a holiday. I didn't think any companies were going to put out incredible news on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. But I stand corrected, surprised, and grateful that we were able to get some really nice trades. I'm now sitting up over $38,000 on the morning, which brings my total on the month to nearly $350,000. Wow, second best month of the year right now. Last month, 400 grand. So, I mean, this is really some remarkable trading that we're seeing. The markets are hot, and no doubt, you know, they've been hot since the election. I mean, the election really put things into gear. So we're in an environment right now where there's a lot of opportunities, and traders who have been doing this for a while, who have been studying, are already at a place where they've paid their dues and they're able to capitalize. If you're a beginner trader right now, it's a great time to learn. And I want to remind you, the market's not going anywhere. So don't get ahead of yourself and start throwing real money at these trades before you really know what you're doing. The right way to learn is to start slow, build a track record of consistency in a simulator, and only once you first have that, consider flipping the switch to real money. Do it the right way. You will thank me later. All right, so today, awesome day. Tomorrow, market is closed for Thanksgiving, and then Friday is a half day. The market closes at 1 p.m. Friday is also Black Friday, biggest sales probably almost everywhere, and it is our biggest sale of the year here at Warrior Trading. So if you're interested in checking out our Warrior Starter or our Warrior Pro memberships, make sure you jump over to the website and check those out. Now let's go ahead and dive into today's recap. UMAC, UMAC. This stock squeezes up nearly 100%, maybe a little over 100% on breaking news at 8:31 that Donald Trump Jr. joins Unusual Machines as an advisor. The second I saw that headline, keywords. I just knew what those keywords meant. I knew that this was something that I had to buy, and I got a trade on immediately. What was interesting about this is that we had this first spike, which was right here, right on breaking news, where it went from $6 all the way up to $9.59. I traded that spike, but only made about $3,000 or $4,000 on it. It happened pretty quick. I wasn't able to size up in a big way. It was nice, but that was it. And then it came all the way back down. And you know what happened is I actually pulled up the filings on this one because I looked at the chart and I said, all right, well, you know, this stock's been up a bit and it's a somewhat recent IPO. I wonder if we have anything with the earnings yet, if we can kind of get a sense of, you know, what their cash and balance sheet looks like. So I pulled up their filings and I saw that they have an S1, which is a registration for securities. So they are actually currently have a registration to sell more securities on the open market. So that's something to be aware of. And in fact, I would say today, we've been seeing a pretty decent amount of selling on this stock at certain areas, like half dollars and whole dollars. I want to see who the underwriters are. So Dominary Securities. So I'm not really familiar with this underwriter. I haven't seen them before. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to do a search here, all company documents. I'm just going to put it in and see what other companies they're involved with. Okay, SYTA. I'm definitely familiar with SYTA. We can pull up this chart. If you look at the daily chart on this, you'll see, whew, wow. Okay, look out below. It's a weak chart. All right, so that's one I'm familiar with. DBGI, I'm familiar with that one as well. Okay, so this is a underwriter that does underwriting for some stocks that have, you know, small cap stocks. Some of the DBGI I've had some great trades on. We've had some big moves. But these are stocks that do get into that cycle of secondary offering, reverse split, secondary offering, the price drops, so on and so forth. So, all right, well, that's worth noting. But it didn't stop me from taking the first trade. I was happy to take that first trade on the news headline, but what surprised me was how much it sold off. So we had that initial spike, and then it gave back the whole thing, and that surprised me because I was like, wait a second, this was I feel like pretty good news. What does this company do? They're in they're kind of in the defense space, so they've got a highly fragmented. They're in the drone industry, right? So, there's been a lot of talk about the drone sector and those stocks doing well in the last week because of, I don't know, something, I can't remember if it was Trump or Elon Musk, something someone was saying. So anyway, so there has been some sympathy momentum on these names, and then that plus Donald Trump Jr. joining as an advisor. It's kind of the perfect combination, but they do have the registration statement to sell more shares, the S1. And today, look, how much volume do we have already? We've got over nearly 20 million shares, 16 million right now. But there's definitely some selling. If you're going to think sort of tactically, which a lot of small cap companies do, and they work with their underwriters to think about timing, you're not usually going to put out really good news right before a holiday or on Black Friday, because it's going to get forgotten, it's going to get lost. What they really need is a lot of volume. A lot of volume that helps create the momentum. And if they did want to do a direct offering and sell shares right on the market, they would need that volume to support the selling. So maybe they're not planning on doing that. I guess I don't really know. But in any case, I got some nice trades on this. But let's go back to the first trade of the day. So go all the way back to me sitting down here at about 6:45 and looking at the market and asking myself, it's the day before Thanksgiving. Should I even take any trades? What am I gonna do today? So when I first sat down this morning, there were a couple of stocks that were on the top of the gap scanner. HWH was the leading percentage gainer. It's currently up 50%. Unfortunately, it's sold off a bit. But even when I sat down at about 7 a.m. here, I already knew that it wasn't going to be something I would trade. It had a 4 a.m. pop, and it's been selling off since then. So I was like, no, that one's no good. So then the next one down was CYCN. And this one I liked, and I did take a trade on, we'll talk about in a second. So this one I liked because it was the second leading percentage gainer in the entire market going into 7 a.m., so it was pretty obvious. And then the third one was KXIN. Now, I liked KXIN a little bit more than CYCN because KXIN has a lower float, and the price was just a little higher. So I thought that it had the potential to move a little bit faster. So coming into 7 a.m., top of the hour, all of a sudden KXIN breaks through VWAP right here. It rips up, and as it broke through the VWAP, I jumped in right as it was breaking VWAP at 276, 279, 280, and I added it 289. It goes up to a high of 3. I take the profit off the table, and I'm up about $800, $855 on it. It dips down. I'm thinking about doing first candle to make a new high, but I hesitated because right at that moment, I started switching gears and looking at CYCN. So my first trade of the day, this is my P&L. Green on 5 out of 6 stocks I traded, and $855 on KXIN. So KXIN, nice, broke the ice, got myself in the green, did 7,500 shares on my first trade. Nothing huge, a little more than the 5,000 share kind of cap that I've been trading with, but I felt like that was okay because the market's been pretty hot and wasn't too much higher than 5,000 for the first breaking of the ice. So broke the ice with KXIN, and then I switched to CYCN. I asked myself, what's obvious right now? And CYCN being at the time the second leading gainer, it felt like that was the most obvious stock. So as we came up right here, we started to curl up, and I decided to buy at 245 with a stop at about 238, just underneath the maybe sort of psychological support of 240. So added about 245. It breaks 250, 255, 260, 265, all the way to 270. Boom, locked up $2,000 on that. So now I'm getting myself a little bit in the driver's seat, and I'm up $2,800 in the first 2 trades. So that's good. That's a great start to the day. I'm happy with that. And I'm locking up the base hits. I'm not trying to get greedy. I'm not trying to overstay my welcome. I'm getting in. I'm getting green. I'm moving on to the next one. If they want to go higher, I'll get back in. If they don't, then, that's it. So the next trade was TRNR. TRNR hits my scanners. It's got news of successfully concluding hearing panel to appeal and confirm demonstrate compliance for continued NASDAQ listing. So I'm like, all right, I mean, this is the one, by the way, I lost $25,000 on my worst trade of the year just earlier this month. So I was a little cautious about it. It first hit my scanner and I saw it right here. I could have gotten in at 340, but I didn't. Volume was light. I wasn't sure. Goes to 360, 370, pulls back. I'm thinking maybe I could do a dip here, dip and rip. Goes up to 380, goes up to 4. I haven't traded it yet. Gosh darn it. Pulls back here. It goes up a little bit higher. And so unfortunately, as it pushes higher, I'm just like, all right, you know what? I'm going to break the ice here with a small starter at 433 and 435, and I'm looking for the break of 450. It goes up to 440, 450, hits a high of 473. I book some profit. It pulls back. I do the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. It goes up to 480. I got a little more profit. It dips back down here, and as it rips back over VWAP, I get back in for this squeeze back up to a high of 510. I was hoping it was going to do more, and I did add back for the break back over 5, and I gave back a little profit there, but nonetheless, still walking away with $4,000 of profit. So now I'm up about 7 grand on the day. Daily goal is 5,000. I'm definitely moving in the right direction. So this is great. Next trade after that, GRRR. GRRR, 3 R's. This one hits my scanners and I see that it has news. I jumped in at 540. It pops up to 545, 550, tanks, and I lose $400 on it. You know, it had news. I figured I'd give it a shot. And anyways, wrong move, took the loss on it. By the way, UMAC right now halted up at 1047 and will resume in just about 2 minutes. So we'll watch that. The pre-market high is 11. This may very well give some more opportunities here for traders. It's a blue sky setup, which is awesome. The challenge now is that you're getting into a time of day where there's market orders and stop orders. It's going to be choppier. You've got a lot of micro hyper scalpers who are going to be going in and out with commission-free trading and market orders, and it's going to be, it might be a little bit of a tug of war, and you might see some big whips. And so for right now, I feel like for me, probably the easiest trades on it are done. All right. So anyway, so back to, so that was GRRR, a losing trade. And then JFBR hits the scanners. It's got a sub 1 million share float. It has news. And so the second it hit the scanner, I wasn't sure it had news. I didn't see any news. And then I saw the news posted and I jumped in right here at 410. It goes from 410 up to 510, boom, $6,800. Nice trade. I mean, it was like so fast. And that was because I saw the news. Now, if I hadn't seen the news, I wouldn't have taken the trade. But once I saw that it did in fact have news, I was like, all right, here we go. I can take this trade. It's unfortunate that it didn't hold up. And after that rejection, I kind of thought that was probably it for the day. I was sitting at like 13,000, a much better day than I expected. And then 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later, UMAC pops up with the Trump news. And so in basically 10 minutes, I went from, and we'll watch resumption here. I went from about 7,000 on the day to 17 grand. All right. So showing 1050, 1075, up to 1082, 1085, not breaking 11. There were heavy sellers at 11 earlier. Back down to 10. 1047. So you can see how it tries, but it just, on that push, was not strong enough to get through 11. There's too many people selling up there. So now people kind of give up on it for a little bit. You've got a red candle on the 5. It'll probably give another attempt at that $11 spot, but that's been an important line in the sand. So, all right. So here we come up again. There's 11. There it goes. Nice. All the way to the halt up. That's nice. So it finally busted through that level. Strong halt up. But it's tough because, like I said, I mean, if you'd gotten in right there, that didn't work. This dip and then rip worked, but that first one, all of a sudden you're down $1 a share. And that's exactly what happened earlier, right here. It came up to 11, it was looking good, and then to nearly a halt down. And then it popped up, and then it did halt down. So it could be really tricky timing those, because when they go, they rip. But if you're in too early and it does the false breakout, everyone bails out on the drop, and then suddenly you could be down $1 a share. So that means if on that trade you were risking at least 50 cents a share, you really need the potential to make $1 a share. And I just would prefer not to risk that much. So first trade on UMAC. Let's go back to the beginning on this stock. First trade, it pops up right here to a high of 7. It dips down. And let me pull up my first trade on it, my first order. So there was JFBR. Right. So now UMAC. First order for me was at $8.04 right here. So it pops up, dips down. I got in at 804, added 850, added as it hits 9, taking some profit. It dips down. I sell some of it, probably break even, maybe even for a loss. But got a nice trade on that first move, $4,000. So didn't get full size, but it was not bad. So it dips down here, kind of goes sideways. And at this point, because it pulled back so much, I just thought, it's a lot of selling. I pulled up the filings, and that's when I saw that they had the registration of new securities just filed today. So I'm like, okay, this is, interesting. So I sort of figured that's probably why we saw so much selling. All right, so it drops down. It then curls back up here. And as it curls back up, initially, I was sort of skeptical. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. This seems kind of risky. But as it came back up to 8, right up to this level, I ended up getting back in. So I got my first trade back in right here at 8. Goes from 8 up to a high of about 828. And I noticed right here, hey, girl, that's enough. I noticed right here that this high of 828, there were sellers, some big sellers again. And I was like, see, this is tricky. There's a lot of selling. And look at this double top. We come up again, more selling. So we dip down, we come back up, more selling. We dip down, we catch the break, and then there's more selling at 850. So it pulls back, try to come back up. I'm like, all right, going to take the next trade for the break of 850. Comes back up, cannot break through 850. And then finally it does. So I got a nice trade from 850 up to 9, and then once again, resistance at 9. Has a hard time breaking, finally breaks, and this is where we got the best move from 9 right to 950, right up to 10. So that was my best trade right there in the morning. It then pulls back. We get a nice break of 10 up to 1050, pull back up to 11. And then there's a wall at 11. So we kind of broke from 9 up to 10 without big resistance at 950. But then we had a little resistance at 10, got through that to 1050, and then the next level was kind of up here at 11. And that was a level that stayed, firm really up until just now. It's been a flat top. So for me, my biggest trades were right in this area as it broke 9 and goes straight to 10, and then this little pullback from 10 up to 1050. This area here was not as easy because you got this nice pop, but then it couldn't break 11. I wanted to see this break 11 and start to really pull away. I was looking for parabolic. That's what I was thinking. I was like, all right, here we go. 1050, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We've seen stocks recently that have gone, this price range has topped out around 17 to 18. So that might happen now. But if it does happen now, even if I traded it, it wouldn't be most likely as clean as if it happened pre-market because it's going to get caught up in halts. The halts are going to slow down the momentum. So that's one of the nice things about having these big moves pre-market is there's no halts. You can get a 700% move with no halts. And when it starts to really go parabolic like that, it's like the stock is just skipping levels as shorts are panic selling to cover. They're panic buying to cover. So it's like, that's when things get really crazy. We've had so many examples recently where, we've had these stocks that have just gone absolutely bananas. So anyways, so that's what I would love. That's what I would have loved to have seen. And we didn't get that. So I did the best I could with the range that we were given pre-market. And, again, like I said, right now, this is also worth noting, this is an Amex listed company. So this will not show us halt resumptions. We see no resumption price. So we don't know where it's going to resume. It's going to resume here in about 2 seconds. So let's watch resumption. So now 11. And see, look at that. See, now that's a bearish resumption because now we're back at that seller at 11. We actually opened a little lower. Do people panic sell? Some people are. They're a little nervous. If it breaks 35, it'll definitely go lower because people will be like, uh-oh, I got to bail. So right now it's kind of basing out, but that's not the resumption you wanted to see. Not for a second. And that's the problem with halts. So now it's halted down and now you're stuck. Okay, maybe it thins out. Is it going to bounce back up? Nope. It's got 30,000 shares on the ask at 90. So now you're stuck in a halt down and you just got to sit and wait. And you're not going to know what the resumption price is until it resumes because it's an Amex listed stock. Now, NASDAQ listed stocks don't do that. NASDAQ listed stocks, well, they halt, but they'll show you the resumption price at least. So you can kind of see, all right, this is the resumption price. But yeah, I don't know. So it's kind of, look, this is the benefit of all the years of experience. It's giving me this intuition of kind of knowing when to go pedal to the metal and get as aggressive as possible, and when I just got to quit and say, that's it, I'm done. And that's the benefit that you have being a member, because you get to listen over my shoulder every single day while I'm trading. Now, the live stream is an interactive classroom where I'm putting the strategies that I teach in the classes on display. So everything that you need to understand the strategies is in the curriculum. As a Warrior Starter member, that gives you access to my 15-chapter Day Train the Basics course. As a Warrior Pro member, you get access to the Basics course, plus you get access to the full Warrior Pro curriculum, which is my Strategies and Scaling course. So this is Warrior Starter, Warrior Pro, and our Warrior Pro Special Bundle. Right now, for Black Friday, all of our membership levels include a month of access to my live broadcast, to my scanners, and my news feed and my charts, and the simulator. So these all include a month, but the Warrior Pro special offer includes a full year of my broadcast and 90 days of access to the simulator and 90 days of access to the scanner. So this is a bundle that just includes more tools. And it also has a 7-day money-back guarantee. So you can literally sign up, trade with me for the next 7 days, see whether or not it's a good fit, and then you could decide in 7 days whether or not you're going to stick with it. So I encourage you guys to use the coupon codes, lock up your Black Friday sales, and become a member at Warrior Trading this year. All right, you've been on the sidelines thinking about it, take the leap. This is, in terms of time of the year, there's not a better time for a discount than Black Friday. All right, so with that said, I'll also mention PGHL from yesterday. So this stock yesterday, this was crazy. This isn't the first time we've seen it. This stock halted up yesterday at about $20. No big deal, $20.95. Nothing really that exciting about that, in my opinion. And guess where it resumes? It resumed at $107 a share, and it actually hit a high of $218.99. Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine being short when something like that happens? Now, the problem is, this is another one of these Chinese companies, just like ZJYL, which did this same thing last year, and they know how to just rip the faces off of short sellers. So it doesn't matter if it eventually came all the way back down to 20. If you couldn't afford to hold your position from 20 to 200, you get auto liquidated. Your broker closes the position for you. And so someone is out there taking advantage of this. They know that happens. And so they're forcing the halt up, and then they're creating this unbelievable resumption, which creates an unrealized loss, which triggers the auto liquidate. So now all of a sudden these people are auto liquidating and getting completely smoked. Imagine, even if you were just shorting 1,000 shares, you could have lost $200,000. It's unfat. I mean, it's really just almost unimaginable. And to be honest, I know a lot of people are going to feel like this is totally unfair. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't work like this, right? It's like, how are they getting away with it? And maybe eventually something will happen and it'll stop this pattern in these Chinese companies. But until then, you better be really careful if you're thinking about shorting them, because if that happened to you, it could be the end of your career. And imagine if you were in 5,000 shares. 5,000 shares. I mean, you're talking about, losses that are in the 7 figures easily. So that was pretty scary for some people. I'm sure yesterday, I wasn't in it. I didn't really have any reason to be in it to the long side. The setup wasn't really that strong. And to the short side, of course, I don't trade anyway. So yeah, just kind of a crazy move. But yeah, I thought I'd point that out. So that was from yesterday. But for those of you who are short sellers, just a wake-up call to be very careful, because it's just not worth it to short that kind of stock. So, and UMAC, I'm sure there's people that got caught shorting this as well, and adding. And next thing you know, it's going higher. And this one's not opening up. but you never know. Maybe the next one will. And all of a sudden we see another stock that's going from, whatever it is, $6 to 12 to 18 to 24 to 36 to 50 to 60. And, we get a crazy move, which is kind of like what we had happen on drug just last month. So, all right, that's it for me. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I'll remind you as always, look, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so please manage your risk, take it slow, and I will see you guys back here. I'll be streaming bright and early Friday morning. So I'll see you on Friday. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great, great Thanksgiving. All right, see you guys later.